Hey everyone, welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff and to the final part of our nameplate page in Animorphia. Today we are going to finish, I don't care how long this takes, we are going to finish. The page is coming along beautifully, so we are at a good point right now. I'm going to mix things up with this just at the very last kick, and I'm going to add a teeny tiny bit of watercolour, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. I've tried to select various sets of pencils just to accommodate what's left on the page, so I will just read the pencil names out as we go along. We are still using the Arteza Expert pencils for anybody that wishes to follow along. Rita, I'm waving at you. Right, so let's get down to business. The first thing I'm going to tackle are these little dudes here. I've decided to keep these little stalks green, and there's a few leaves floating about as well. So I have got absinthe green and matcha here. And I'm just going to use that to do the bits that we haven't coloured yet that we think should be green. That was very long-winded, wasn't it? Alright, so I'm just going to start here. So I've got this little leaf here. Starting with the absinthe because it's the paler colour, we'll pop that down. And we can add in some of the matcha on top. I don't really need to say it again now because this is obviously the last video and I'm hoping that some of you have seen the previous ones, but the idea here is just to build up lots of light layers, and it's to get that nice rich colour that's making everything pop out from this background. And if you think back to the first day when we did the background, we have come a long way with this picture. I know there was quite a few people that looked at the background and went, okay. But here we are, and it is absolutely perfect for what we wanted, or for what I envisaged this picture to look like, which is real nice. Righty ho ho, so we've got this one here as well. We're going to do this little stem. So I'm thinking that we'll just stick to the same sort of idea. So get my absinthe in. This little guy hanging on to his stalk, bless him. Just get that first layer down. There we go. And again, there's some hatched areas here, so I'm going to take advantage of that and pop the matcha in there. I do kind of want to keep this top part quite pale though, and what I'm trying to achieve with that is the idea that this is quite light and floaty. Normally when we see things like that, or you think of the words light and floaty, if you were to associate colours with that, most people would associate that with very pale, desaturated, maybe pastel colours. So that's kind of, and I don't know why the brain does that, but it just does. So if we pop some of this matcha down in here, this, you know, just darker where he's hanging on, or she's hanging on, or it's hanging on, whatever's going on there. Just get that little bit of depth in there that we want. And we'll just do the other one while we're here as well. So again, back to my absinthe. So it is still, I was just about to say it's still morning, it's not, it's just after midday. And I've had my two big dogs out, so I've had the collies out already for their first WALK. I can't say the word because I'm just checking. Yeah, I have everyone in the cave. Everyone is sleeping though, which is lovely. And because it has been so cold, we have like an ice rink status outside. We barely got above freezing yesterday, so around the middle of the afternoon the frost had started to thaw out, but it didn't thaw completely, and then overnight it's frozen again, so it's got that lovely glassy sheen to it. So I was kind of like on my tiptoes, and even up round the farm tracks where it's, you know, it's dirt tracks, it's absolutely frozen solid, and where the farm vehicles have been going over the road, they've like squashed it flat and it is so slippy. Pip was hilarious because she was running about anyway, she didn't care, and she, you know, she was like doing the Bambi thing where she was like skidding about with her legs splayed out. Twice she fell on her face as well, which was hilarious, but I shouldn't laugh at her because I know fine well I could have been straight after her if I wasn't careful. Alright, we've got another, I think this is a leaf down here, it might be a petal, but I'm going to stick with the leaf idea because there's plenty of pink and purple in this picture already. So I'm going to use absinthe on this side, and I'm going to use matcha on this side. And then I'll just add a few layers at different parts in the leaf I'm not blending the pencils together at all, I'm keeping them individual here, just for a wee change. There we go, perfecto. Right, just a quick sweep round to make sure I haven't missed any other leaves. No, I think we're good. Okay, so I'm going to dispose of these green pencils now. We've finished with them. Let's go back to these kind of little fairy dudes. Now, I do have a logic behind this, so I just want to zoom out and show you what my thinking is here, because it's quite important in terms of composition in a picture, and this is the reason I'm doing it. Just looking at our hummingbirds, there is quite a high concentration of this colour, you know, of these kind of like aqua turquoisey colours in this sort of C shape, and the way that that's done and the fact that the actual part where we write our names is slightly offset suggests that these are trying to sort of pull in towards the focal point, which is obviously where your name goes. So with that in mind, I want to keep this colour scheme constant, so I'm going to use similar colours on these little guys that I've used on the hummingbirds and our little hummingbird keeper guys as well. I hope that makes sense, but that's like an aesthetics thing, and it makes sense to keep this link, you know, like a chain, all the same colour, because you're then ensconcing the part where your name goes, and that's a really nice thing to have in a composition, especially when it's slightly offset and slightly more interesting like this. So that's my reasoning behind it, and that's why I'm doing it. Some people might be like, oh, it's just more of the same colour. It's your colouring book, you can do what you want, but that's my logic behind doing this, and I think it's going to look pretty good. So let's get zoomed back in a little bit again so that you can see what I'm doing. So for their bodies, I'm going to use the same colours as we did for these little Kerby guys here. So that was the ocean blue and also the blueberry. Oh goodness me, chucking pencils about now. So as I did before, this bottom layer, I'm going to try and keep it a little bit more even because I want this to be as smooth as possible. We've got a slightly larger surface area to work with as well, which is quite nice. So we'll just get this down here. And then we can start with the blueberry and decide where we want these darker spots to go. So I think I'm going to have that most of the way around, so like a C shape, like this. And then in his little belly, in there, and then round his bum. There's a question, if I have any Canadians watching, do you use the word bum? I have heard 2 Canadian YouTubers use the word once or twice, and I just want to know if it's in your general vocabulary or whether it's just a word that you use every now and then. I know that for our American counterparts, a bum to you guys is like a tramp or someone that's, you know, like a loadie or a wastrel. I know that you guys use the word bum for that, but we use it to refer to the posterior, but we also talk about if you bum something off of someone, you borrow it, you ask for it, you know, expecting that you're going to give nothing in return. Like if someone says to you, can I bum a £5, they're asking you, can I borrow £5? Not necessarily entering into a contract where you may pay that back. So yeah, I'm just curious about that, but so come on Canadians, speak up, tell me in the comments, I want to know, I need to know this. But yeah, we talk about bums. So it's a very polite word that's a little more informal to describe a backside. That, you know, bum's the kind of word you would use in front of your children, and that's perfectly acceptable. It's not in any way, shape or form considered like a naughty word or a dirty word. Okay, and just do the body now here. I'm going very gently where this meets the blueberry. I'm going pretty easy. I just want them to blend together nicely because they're not. They are actually blending together okay, but they're not naturally 2 pencils that you would put side to side, and you know, and want to blend into each other. But they're close enough that they're doing something, which is good. It's always good when you're doing something. Oh, he looks super cute. I love these little guys. I'm going to do this wee dude up here and then we'll do their wings. I think the word bum's a good word, I like it. I don't know why. Not like ferule. We also use bottom with kids as well. That's another sort of slightly more polite word you talk about your bottom, sit on your bottom. Again, I know in parts of the US as well, you guys use the word fanny, and that you're talking about your bum or your bottom. That's not a word you use in the UK because that describes female genitalia. That is when we talk about fanny, that's what that is. That is not a socially acceptable word to use if you're being polite. We also, in Scotland in particular, we use it as a derogatory term to tell someone they're being an idiot. Also not a nice thing to say, but often used in jest and, you know, not in a malicious way at all, but it's a pretty derogatory term if you're using it with someone that you are not well acquainted with. So we have to be very careful when using that word. And it was something I came across as a youngster, and it was reading, and obviously a lot of American authors and American published books, and this word came up and I was absolutely horrified. And I remember saying to my mum about it, and she was laughing, and I'm like, Mum, that's not funny because it's a bad word. And she says, no, it's in America it's not a bad word. And I was like, what? They just walk around and say that word? Because you guys talk about fanny packs as well. We call it a bum bag. See, back to the bums. It's all about the bums. I think it's just these regional differences. I find all this very interesting, and for those of you that have been around a while, you'll know that I like languages and finding things out and how to pronounce things and spell things. I just find it fascinating that we have so many national and regional differences, but we all still arrive at the same conclusions. Righty-ho, for the wings, I have gone back to a couple of the pencils that we used in our hummingbirds. So I have got Aegean blue and I've got turquoise as well. So I want to start with a layer of the turquoise and just pop that down as per. I'm going to have to find a new way to say that because I say it every time I use pencils. I can't assume that everybody knows that that's what I'm going to do though, because as demonstrated just recently, we have picked up a lot of new subscribers, and for the new colourists, this may be one of the first videos of mine that they're seeing. So I might have to come up with a more creative slogan than that. Right, and using the Aegean blue, I'm going to use my flicky technique again. And I'm just going to follow Kerby's flicky lines here. We'll flick that out there and do the same here. Oh no, I went outside the lines. I do want to keep these a little bit more delicate though. So I'm only going to put one more layer of the turquoise down. I'm going to go over everything though. Soften those flicks a wee tiny bit. There we go. It's looking pretty nice, and we'll do the same with this little guy down here. Tomorrow I am going to get my first set of Christmas nails done. My nails are grown out quite a little bit now, and I had to plan carefully so that I had them done, you know, at proper intervals for Cavemas and obviously for any parties or anything I may have to go to as well. So I'm actually getting Christmas nails a little bit earlier than I would like, but for the purposes of filming, I'm just going to do it. So that's tomorrow's little outing, which is nice. I am also, and again, you will have seen, I'm just looking at my calendar here, you will have seen the first, in fact, no, you will have seen both of the coffee videos by now on the pan pastels. Obviously I am filming in advance, so I am also going to pick up the pan pastels tomorrow for the video so that I can start filming that, which is real nice. Okie dokie. I can put these pencils aside now, we're done with that. So if I just have a quick zoom out here, you can see what I mean about having this circle of colour. It keeps a little bit of continuity in what is a very busy picture, and it just frames that nameplate part perfectly. So that's I'm quite happy with that, that's pretty good. Oh no, I've missed a guy down here, there's one down here, oh no. Quick, zoom back in. Ah, jeez. Get the pencils back out, make sure I've got them in the right combinations. Ocean blue, there we go. I'm sorry I forgot about you, I feel guilty. He's quite a happy little chappy as well. Okay. Get some of this down. Make sure I'm getting plenty of that in. I'm going to make that one all dark in there because his leg's tucked in behind there, it's really tucked in. make it a little bit darker. And then I can just start blending in here. Okay, I'm looking good. His little head. Right, that's looking good enough for me. And back to these wing colours again, so turquoise and Aegean blue, light layer of turquoise. I'm starting to buy in some bits and bobs for Christmas now, you know, like foodie type items like biscuits and the ingredients to make mulled wine, which I do like to drink a little bit of around the Christmas time. So that I've been kind of looking at stuff like that as well, which is nice. That always makes me feel wintry and Christmassy and all that good stuff. So I'm starting to get into a bit of a festive spirit, and it is a little bit early for me. But again, aforementioned reasons. Generally, I kind of ban everything even remotely related to the festive period until the 1st of December. So for me, it's a bit premature, but it's okay, it's allowed. Right, good. Excellent. Now, one of the things that's kind of annoying me down in this corner is this padlock, and it's one of the things you're supposed to find in the book. Just realised I wasn't filming there, guys. Down the bottom here, I've just coloured in this little padlock. All I've done is use 3 yellow pencils, and I have used yellow sapphire, sunflower and honey. And basically I've just put them into a gradient, and I've left a kind of white stripe down the middle. So I've gone with the yellow sapphire, leaving a white stripe in the middle, and then I've used a little bit either side of the sunflower, and then just right at the very edges I've used a bit of the honey, and it's to give it that gradient that gives it that sort of shine. If you want a more sort of in-depth idea on using coloured pencils for metallics, I do have a video on it, and it includes some pencil combinations for gold, silver and rose gold, so I will link that in the end card if that's something that you would like to watch. It is quite an old video now, but it's quite a helpful one. Right, so the other thing that we've got to do here is we've got our Kerby creatures. Under normal circumstances, I would colour these in with neon colours. Quite often I'm using Prismacolors in these books. As there are no designated neon pencils in the Arteza set, I have decided to go with oranges, and this is to kind of complement the tiny little bits of orange that we've got in the hummingbirds in the picture. There isn't an awful lot of orange anywhere else, so it'll kind of help to balance that out. So I've picked out these 2 pencils. I've got pumpkin and blood orange, so this is more like a reddy orange, and I think that's going to be quite a nice complement to what's already there. Now you can see I haven't used these pencils. These are the way that they come from Arteza, and it's quite annoying because they're sharpened but they don't actually have a point on them. So I'm going to get that done first, because we are working in quite tight spaces, so it's quite important that we do have some sort of point on our pencils, because that is nothing but helpful when you're working in tighter areas. Oh no. Here we go again. This doesn't feel particularly stable, but not forcing it. It seems to be reasonably okay, so we're going to go for it. Right, so let's have a look at our Kerby creatures then. We've got this little dude here. So let's go with the orange. Light layer. Now I think I'm going to leave a wee bit of white just round the top of his kind of like nose area here, if that's what that is. And again, it's just to make him look shiny, because he kind of looks like some sort of sea creature, I think. And that gives me the idea that he might be wet. So he's going to have like some sort of shiny bit on it. I don't know. Okay, just leave me alone. That's just my thinking. And then with the blood orange, I can put in where I want these darker parts. So down here, that's going to be like almost like a shadow down there. And we can maybe have a little bit of it down here. Now don't worry if your lines look really blocky at this point. The first couple of layers, it's really easy to panic yourself and think, oh, what have I done? This looks terrible. I get it a lot with my paintings, not so much with pencil now because I'm quite confident with pencil, but don't assume that what you've done is how the end result is going to look, and don't panic. You've got to keep going and you've got to persevere, because everything, and it's a lot of YouTubers have talked about it, everything goes through like an ugly stage, and artwork goes through that ugly stage in no end. You've got to work through it. Unless there is something fundamentally wrong with the structure of your of your picture. For example, if you were colouring a face and you've used light skin tones in one area and then really dark skin tones in another, that is like a structural error. Nothing that you can do will fix that properly. You might be able to save it a little bit, but you're never going to get it the way you'd originally intended. And if you're drawing, if you have something that's misshapen or it's out of perspective, that needs to be fixed. But when it comes to actually adding colour to things, it's a process that has to be worked on quite gradually, and you can't draw conclusions from like those kind of initial steps, because you're just going to torture yourself, trust me. So persevere and work away. And back at same old preach from Gem here, just keep with light layers, because it means that everything is very gradual and incremental, rather than this one big massive mistake that you can't do anything with. So I feel that it's too pale right here at the, you know, at the very tip of his nose where his mouth is, so I'm just going to add a little bit more of the paler orange. So this is the pumpkin around there. That's better. There we go. I'm happier with that. Let's move over. So we've got these three little dudes down here. We've got the one with the 3 ears that I can't decide what he is, and then the ones that look like the little Pac-Man ghosts, and this little guy's just also, he looks like some sort of Groot type creature. Now, for some reason, in my mind's eye, this one is more red than orange. Or more of the reddy orange than orange. My God, Gem, come on. More of the blood orange than the pumpkin. There we go, that makes more sense. So I'm going to make an effort, like a conscious effort here, to use more of the blood orange than the pumpkin colour. So let's start with his little, in between his many legs that he seems to have. And then his bum. It's today's word of the day on the video, bum. And then kind of join these bits together. And I'm going to make him like really orange round here, so I'm putting a lot of successive layers down on top of each other. Still not pressing particularly hard, but I'm layering that up quite quickly. And then I can bring that down his front leg, a wee bit there, and then in under his belly. So in this hatched area right in here, I'm pressing hard. It's not an important area, we don't need to go back over it lots of times. And then I'm just going to kind of line his ears or tentacles or antlers. I don't know what these are. I don't know what they are. And then down in between his eyes here. Just get that layer down. So really the only places that we want him to be a bit more orange, let's blend this out. So he's kind of got a little bit there on what would be his forehead. And then this part down here where we're going to join that in there. Blend that all together quite nicely. And then he's got this little part round where his nose would be if he was a rabbit. And then just slightly over the top of the rest of that. I'm going to deal with his legs in a minute. So now I'm just starting to blend everything together now. Back with my blood orange. Get this nice rich colour on the go. Kind of reminds me of a grapefruit. I don't even like grapefruit. I actually like them. I find the aftertaste, the kind of bitter aftertaste, just a bit too much for my palate, which is strange because I like bitter things. Just not grapefruit. My friend was eating a grapefruit for breakfast the other morning, and I was just like, that's a waste of breakfast time. What are you doing? To be fair, it's too cold to be eating anything other than like porridge or something else that's warm. There we go. He looks pretty cute, doesn't he? Alright, this little guy. So because this one is very close to this one, I want to use more of the pumpkin, and it's back to what we were talking about before about contrast. Contrast is really, really important in any sort of artwork. Doesn't matter whether you're colouring, drawing, painting, chalk on a pavement. It's contrast that gives things definition and makes your picture interesting. So I'm going to have mostly this orange colour. I'm going to put a tiny bit of the blood orange down at the tips, you know, on his, I was going to say his legs, you know what I mean, I don't even know what you want, and it's his skirt, his tentacles, his fronds, I don't know. But just a, you know, just a wee accent there, like that. And then I'll go over the top of that and blend it out with the rest of the pumpkin that's here. And I'm maybe going to put a tiny little sliver down here. Like that. Give him a bit more definition. And I'm going to leave that little top bit paler as well. And this wee guy in here, we can kind of do what we want with this guy in here. He's hanging on to his hummingbird, so I'm just going to go all out with this pumpkin, and then flicky motion again, just following Kerby's lines. And I might do the same on his hands, and just give him a sort of gradient from the bottom up. See what we can do for him. Ooh. Okay, 2 to go. Let's move up here. There he is. So this guy's the same kind of style as the one we just did, the Pac-Man style one, so I'm going to keep them the same just for a bit of continuity. I am absolutely astonished at you guys' response to the new cave stash. You've practically decimated the entire stash in less than 24 hours. I'm impressed. And I'm really glad it's something that you guys are all interested in and that you're accepting. I was also absolutely delighted to see that I had a purchaser from Canada. That is the first time anybody outside the UK and Europe has bought something from the stash. So I'm really hoping that these changes are positive changes and make things more accessible to everyone that is outside of Europe. Because I would like it to be available to as many people as possible. So that's quite an encouraging sign. I'm quite pleased about that. But it's one of these things, because I've set it up the way I have on eBay now, if things like postage or whatever are slightly out, I can tweak them as I go along, which is really good as well. And in some cases it might be worth my while absorbing some of the postage costs myself, you know, in with whatever the value of the item is, if it makes it more accessible to everyone. But I just have, that's a very delicate balance, because I have to make sure that I'm not going to be out of pocket myself. But you guys know all about that already, I don't need to go on about that. We've got this one here, and then we've got this one, and then that's them all done as well. So we'll stick to him being the same again. Pop a little bit of pumpkin down. There we go. And then we can add these in here. Super duper. Oh, it's looking fabulous. I don't know what to do about this little weird shaped guy. He looks really happy. I think we could make him look like a sun, couldn't we? So we could have him the blood orange in the middle. I'm going to try and avoid his mouth though. Yeah, this could be awkward. So I could have that round there like so. And then we could blend them out to a very pale pumpkin at the edges, couldn't we? Maybe even leave a little bit of white in there, huh? I do still want him to be quite vibrant though, and by fading that out to almost nothing, I'm kind of losing some of that. It is quite a small part of the picture though, so I don't think I'll bother too much. The other thing I'm going to do as well is, and I'm just using this because it's like right by my hand, I've got a black pencil here. It's a Polychromos, a Faber-Castell. Obviously you can use the Arteza one, but the rest of my Arteza pencils are like under a pile of other stuff. I've just picked out the pencils that I was going to use, so there we go. I'm just filling in his mouth there. Pop that back where it was. Right, let's take a zoom out now. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm actually really glad that I picked those oranges now. It's just adding some, you know, interesting little pops of colour elsewhere in the picture. For the remainder, which you can see now is just the helmets, these kind of weird bubbly shape things, and these two butterflies. I got some new paints the other day and I'd quite like to try them out, so I'm going to use them for this next part. In the interests of saving time, I'm going to use a water brush, and it is quite a fine tipped water brush. so we can get into all the little spaces. And the paints that I have are the Paul Rubens pearlescent set. And I've wanted these for ages. Look, at even the swatches look lovely. Oh, they're so nice. So I would like to use them. All I have done is swatch them out. That had to happen. I stopped what I was doing yesterday. Like there was about 18 things I had to do, and I just stopped and decided to swatch these paints out. But they are lovely. I am going to be using these in a video, in an upcoming video, so don't worry, we'll get to look at them properly, but you guys get a sneak peek, which is quite interesting that the colours get a sneak peek, but yeah. So I have lots of lovely colours to choose from. However, I want to kind of keep that theme that we've been talking about, so I'm going to go with some a combination of the pinky purples and also the turquoisey colours. So this one here, because it's surrounded by turquoise, I'm going to put the turquoise on the inside part. So I've got this really nice colour here. I'm going to have to spray these. Okay, so the first colour I've got here, I do wonder at some of these colour names. It's called Deep Interference Green. That's a bit of a mouthful. So that colour I am going to use on the interior part of the wings, or like what might be the patterned part. And you can see it is a very similar shade to what we've been using, which is fabulous. But the minute you see this in any sort of light, it is super shimmery. Which is just going to add a really nice touch to this page. This is one of these pages when I show it on Instagram, I'm going to do the quick video where I go like this so that you can show off the colour. There you are. I know that's out of focus, but you can see the sheen of it. It really is very, very lovely. I'm also going to use this colour for its body. I'll just pop that in there. And if you feel that it's not shimmery enough, you can always layer them up. The other really nice thing that you could use if you don't have any pearlescent paints is you can use some something like Wink of Stella or some stickles. I know a lot of you are a fan of stickles, or even metallic pens. I've got quite a nice set of metallic pens as well that would do the job, you know, like a metallic gel pen, something like that. So if you're looking for options and you know you don't have a huge amount of supplies, anything metallic at all would do. I just really wanted to try these out. Okay, for the wings, I have got this colour called Rose Red, and I'm going to use this on the outside part of the wing here. Again, this is more to tie in with our petal colours. Just want to get a nice coat of that down. I'm trying to be careful here to stay inside the lines. The nice thing about this is because we're working in such a small area, it's really easy to get a nice even finish. You know, you don't have to worry about having the sort of traditional tide marks that you get from watercolour, because you are working in such a small area. You know, you have plenty of time to work quickly enough to get the coverage before it starts to dry out, which is what gives you that unwanted tide line a lot of the time. Just get this in here. You can tell I'm concentrating, I've stopped talking as much. It's just while I do this tiny little bit in here. Ooh, bit of a tight squeeze. There we go. Excellent. Now, the other wings that are there, that's like almost the back part of the wings. You know, it's like I don't know what you want to, because I would call this the front of the wings, therefore the other side would be the back, but I don't know if that's right or not. But I've got a kind of more of like a, well, it's a darker shade. It's called Grape Myrtle. It is very pearlescent, so I don't know how much of a difference this is going to make. I did want the wings to look different, but not horrendously different. But that shade is just delightful. The camera is just not doing that justice at all. Like it almost looks like a flip paint that you see on these tricked out cars. You know, where it looks, depending on what way you look at it in the light, it's purple or pink. There we go. I'm going to let that dry and I'll show you that in a wee minute. So this butterfly that's over the other side, I'll just shift over a little bit. I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to do the colours inversely because there's more purple round about rather than the turquoise. You know, it's a bit further out the way compared to these other birds. So we're going to stick it the other way round now. So I'll use the rose red in the middle parts, in the pattern parts here, and on the body. Squeeze that in again. Ugh. Ta-da! Ah. And I'll use this deep interference green. There is also a deep interference blue, red, orange and yellow. So there you go. I don't know why they thought that would be a good name, but they did. If you do kind of go over the lines a wee bit with this, it's really easy just to take a fine liner and kind of draw in the line work again if that's what you want to do. You know, if you think it looks a wee bit untidy. I did a lot of that in Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. I first got my Gansai Tambi Starry Colours, which is the kind of gold set. And I got that around the same time as I got Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. And I have used it quite a lot. But I have to say my brush skills then, I wasn't painting at all at that point, so my brush skills were far, far poorer than now, and I spent a lot of time putting back in line work where I'd gone over it. For the other side, I'm going to use the, excuse me, I'm going to use the deep interference blue, again for the back side of those wings, the back side or the whatever, front, back, the top, whatever you want to call them. There we go. I thought let's make that kind of cute. Now I've got another colour here called Shiny Blue, and I kind of get the feeling these shapes look like bubbles or water drops. So I think I want to use that in there. And I'm just plonking it in. It's, yeah. I might even go in with a wee white gel pen and put a wee, you know, like a wee highlight on this as well. That might be quite nice, make it look watery. Or as if it's like a bubble. We'll maybe do that. And there's kind of funny shapes over here as well, which I'm going to do the same with. I have no idea what this is. I think it might be one of our other dudes that just doesn't have any eyes now that I think about it. I could give him some eyes. Do you think I should make it into a Kerby creature? Yeah, I'm going to do it. Right, I need to find a teeny tiny fine liner first of all. Right, so I'm just going to try and copy this guy over here, and it's annoying because it's on the left and I'm trying to avoid the paint as well. I think we'll just give him a smile rather than trying to give him like a full mouth because there's not a lot of space in here. Okay, so he's a happy Kerby creature. Ta-da! Oh dear, right, where's my orange pencils? Pumpkin and blood orange, those were the ones we used. We really do not have a lot of room here, so I'm just going to put down a layer of the pumpkin orange and somehow avoid his eyes that I've just dug myself a hole here, really. And I'll just pop a little bit of that blood orange in the middle. And then go back in here. Oh, this is funny. Why do I do these things to myself? Nothing like making your life easy, you know? There we go. Yeah, he fits in okay. He looks like he belongs there, doesn't he? Why not? There we go. Anyway, back to what I was doing. Where's my... Right, what colour was I using? So I've just got these tiny little spots here. Get them in. Ta-da! I have gone over the lines, seeing this other area over here, I have gone over the lines like a tiny section, but it's annoying me. Oh, jeez. That's one of those ones that, see, if I don't fix it every time I flick this page open, that is all that I'm going to see. And I can't live with that. Oh, this is the wrong pen, but never mind. There. Oh. Yep. Oh no, there's another bit. Have I missed anything else while I'm here? No, I don't mind the other ones, they're not, they're not bothering me. Okay, so for these little guys with their helmets, I've got like a silver black colour, and I'm just going to put a really light wash of that on. There is a lot of shading here anyway, so I'm not really that bothered about it, but I just wanted there to be something. In this set of paints, that colour isn't as shimmery as the rest of them, but that's actually quite nice, I think. It does have a little bit of a shimmer on it. Oh, this is the original diagram of my hummingbird when I was trying to decide what colours were going where. Right, let's get him in here. There we go. The only thing that's left for me to do is actually sign my name on this. I don't know if this pen bleeds or not. I wish I'd tried it out beforehand. I'm going to try it at the back. Wee bit of ghosting, nothing mega. Right, let's go for it. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to sign my name in my own handwriting just for a wee change. I don't know. Why not? There we go. Triumphant. We are finished. There is the page in its entirety, and when you just catch it at first, it looks lovely and all the rest of it, and then when you start wiggling the page about a bit, then you can see our little butterfly friends down here just with a wee bit of shimmer on them, and those little water droplets or bubbles or whatever. I've decided not to put any white on them. I think they're eye-catching enough on their own. So yeah, I would love to know what you think of this picture, guys, whether it's given you some inspiration to try the nameplate page in your own book, or maybe you've learned something from some of the techniques like the background or whatever. You know, I always welcome your comments with stuff like this. Again, I mentioned it last time, but if you have any ideas for a future colouring series that you would like to see in a similar vein to the nameplate, perhaps a certain type of picture or a certain subject that you would like to see me colour in a series, you can let me know in the comments section. That's absolutely perfect, because we're in this together, we are a team. Okay, I just want to thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time back in the cave. Bye for now, everyone.